This is Valley News Live at 5.
Some special assessment costs for new developments are being pushed back in a couple Grand Forks neighborhoods. Developers and realtors say the program is helping new homeowners, but some in city government say there's concern about back-end costs. Valley News Team's Ryan Laughlin explains why new homeowners could be looking at larger monthly payments down the road.
Come on in.
Russell Crary is used to showing brand new houses.
Nice park and a nice school, and it's quiet, nice neighborhood.
The Crary name is everywhere on the south end of Grand Forks. That's because there's new houses everywhere on the south end of Grand Forks.
99% of the population, it's the biggest asset they'll ever purchase, and it's a big decision, and there's a lot of moving parts.
Russell sells houses, and one of those moving parts is navigating the cost. For new houses or lots, there's special assessments, added taxes for the new infrastructure for the neighborhood. Homeowners in this brand new Southside neighborhood are already paying their special assessment taxes. But just go a little ways south of here, a brand new neighborhood, they won't have to pay until the year 2020. Some people say that's a good incentive.
This was definitely part of their decision in order to buy now.
Russell says he's already sold 2 lots where first-time homeowners will avoid paying an additional tax for a few years. But city council leaders have concerns that those first-time homebuyers could be biting off more than they can chew. In addition to special assessment taxes being put off, brand new homes in Grand Forks have a new home tax exemption for 2 years. City officials say monthly payments could go up by 30% after 3 years.
They're qualified from the bank to make the payments when the full assessed value comes on, but at the same time, it gives them the ability to save a couple $1,000 every year.
More than 100 new homes coming to town. The question now is if people can afford moving in. From Grand Forks, Ryan Laughlin, Valley News Live.
So experts say know what you can afford in the long run when looking at a new house. The new homeowner tax exemption in Grand Forks is a $150,000 exemption on the improvement value, not the land value, for the first 2 years. The special assessments in the newest neighborhoods are being deferred for 3 years. In those new developments, taxes will kick in during 2020. Estimates are around $2,000 to $4,000 a year. Property owners will have to pay that tax for the next 25 years. That's anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000. Lots of fog and drizzle to go around today. We're wondering if that will continue tonight and make roads icy later. Hutch, what does it look like out there?
Well, temperatures have been holding well above freezing here in the Southern Valley, but it certainly has been quite foggy throughout the day. Low clouds, even some mist drifting around on the radar moving into northwest Minnesota. We do see some breaks in the clouds just to the west of the Red River Valley, and that is a clearing trend where there's actually some sunshine across portions of our western counties. For this evening, the fog does continue. Notice it's clearing out in the Devil's Lake Basin. That clearing trend will continue to spread to the south and east towards Grand Forks first and eventually on towards parts of western Minnesota. But we still have zero visibility in and around Thief River Falls tonight, so that pesky fog and even a few sprinkles will continue this evening. Now, as we go through the evening, Andrea, the big change will be the wind direction, and the increase in speed during the overnight hours going to usher in some colder Canadian air. The fog will be a problem this evening, but overnight it's going to be the wind and the cold air that return. I'll have hour-by-hour details on how cold we get here in just a few moments.
Okay, thanks, Hutch.
You bet.
We're following new developments in a robbery investigation out of Grand Forks tonight. Police now say they have one suspect in custody and are looking for another after a home break-in and attack of a homeowner over the weekend. Police are on the lookout for this man, 40-year-old Casey Featherstone. He's wanted on a long list of charges, including robbery, burglary, aggravated assault, and terrorizing, among others. Authorities say they have already arrested Garrett Featherstone of Arvilla in connection with Saturday's break-in. He's facing charges of conspiracy to commit robbery and burglary, along with drug possession charges. Police say the home invasion and robbery happened just after 10 Friday night at a home northwest of Jaycees Park. If you have any information about Casey Featherstone, police say to give them a call, 787-8000, or you can leave them an anonymous tip. We've got information on how to do that on our website, valleynewslive.com. We're also getting new information about a deadly crash in Walsh County. We now know the name of the North Dakota woman killed in a rollover crash that ended with her SUV upside down in an icy river. The The North Dakota Highway Patrol says 30-year-old Elizabeth Knecht of Forest River died at the scene of the crash about a mile south of Minto. They say she was driving north on 150th Avenue Northeast when she hit the ditch, went over the riverbank and rolled. The SUV went through the ice of the Forest River, and emergency crews found the vehicle upside down and partially submerged Monday morning. Police have identified 2 men who died from apparent gunshot wounds. They are 67-year-old Michael Callahan of Menahga and 82-year-old Carl Albin, also of Menahga. Police responded to a 911 call about the shooting at a home in Menahga early yesterday morning. They say both men were dead when they arrived. The bodies were taken to the Midwest Medical Examiner's office for an autopsy. Police do not believe there's any risk to the public at this time. Neighbors have told Valley News Live they believe the incident was a murder-suicide after the 2 men got into some sort of argument. A Harwood man is facing charges after allegedly firing several gunshots during a standoff early this morning. The incident ended peacefully around 5 a.m. when deputies arrested 57-year-old Steven Sorensen for reckless endangerment and terrorizing. It all started about 1 this morning when the Cass County Sheriff's Department responded to rural Harwood. Sorensen originally wanted to talk with police after an incident at a West Fargo bar last night. But when they arrived, they heard several gunshots. Deputies set up a perimeter and sent out a code red alert to other homes in the area. They eventually made contact with Sorensen's wife, who helped bring him into custody. No one was hurt in that incident. Another mass shooting today, this one in Northern California early this morning. When it was all over, 5 people were dead, another 10 people injured, including 2 children. It started just before 8 a.m. local time in a small community about 130 miles north of Sacramento. Investigators say for about 45 minutes, the gunman opened fire in 7 different locations, including shooting into a car as a woman was driving her kids to school. The mother and child were both hit. The gunman's last stop was an elementary school where he fired multiple shots into the building, hitting 1 child. Minutes later, the gunman was shot and killed by deputies. Investigators say it may have stemmed from a domestic incident and have not yet released the name of the shooter. The Senate GOP is adding a repeal of the Obamacare insurance mandate into their overhauled tax bill. The Senate Finance Committee released their version this afternoon. According to the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, repealing the mandate would free up more than $300 billion in government funding over the next decade, but it would cause 13 million fewer people to have health insurance in a decade. President Donald Trump has also endorsed repealing the individual mandate as part of the tax bill. Jeff Sessions testified before the House Judiciary Committee Tuesday. The Attorney General faced tough questions about his previous testimony, where he claimed he wasn't aware of any Trump campaign meetings with Russians. Mola Lenghi has more details from Capitol Hill.
Please raise your right hand.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions faced tough questions on Capitol Hill Tuesday.
Do you want to admit under oath that you did not tell the truth or misrepresented, or do you want to correct your testimony right now?
At the heart of the matter was Sessions' testimony during his confirmation hearing that he had no knowledge of any contacts between the Trump campaign and Russia. Court documents later revealed Sessions was present during a meeting with campaign aide George Papadopoulos, where he discussed arranging a meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
He said something about going to Russia and dealing with the Russians, and I pushed back and said you shouldn't do it. So I don't think it is right to accuse me of doing something wrong.
Attorney General Sessions did deliver the news that he's looking at possibly appointing a special counsel separate from Robert Mueller's investigation of possible collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia.
I've directed senior federal prosecutors to make recommendations as to whether any matters not currently under investigation should be open.
President Trump has publicly criticized the Department of Justice for not investigating whether Clinton Foundation donations were tied to an Obama administration approval of a deal allowing a Russian company to purchase a mining company with uranium operations in America. Mola Lenghi, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Thank you.
Former DOJ officials tell CBS News they believe the Uranium One investigation is part of a long-term strategy to discredit special counsel Robert Mueller, who led the FBI at the time of the Obama administration's approval of the deal.